This is the primordial wave. I am the enwisdomizer. As we say here all the time, enwisdomize is to put wisdom into something, to activate our consciousness beyond limitations of the three-dimensional programming. When you look around you, when you see millions of people walking around on this planet, you got also to understand that their consciousness, their level of comprehension of this world, of interpretation of events, is dependent on the mind control system of the 3D reality. So they cannot conceive metaphysical things. They cannot interpret metaphysical knowledge because, of course, metaphysics, which means beyond physics, beyond your perception, beyond the knowledge you've been taught in schools, in churches, by the media, by the society. There are other aspects of knowledge which is mystery, right? Which is mystery, or if you like, the occult. Occult does not mean evil. It simply means hidden. Something hidden beyond the illusions of your five senses. And you got to also understand that the cryptic Luciferian elites who control this world are very good in encrypting knowledge and information. The reason they do this is so that you can look all you want. You can go to school all you want. You can go to church all you want and pray all you want. You will never be able to see them because they are hiding in plain sight. Right? These nefarious, evil, satanic Luciferians, right, are hiding in plain sight and are the ones who are controlling events within this plane of existence. So if your mindset is trapped within the programming and the mind conditioning, you will not be able to understand how things are run. You will see the world as every other person sees the world. And mind you that there's nothing that these cryptic elites plan to do to you without letting you know. It seems that there's a law, there's a universal or cosmic law they follow. And this law is compelling them. They are not allowed to do anything unless they communicate it to you. The problem is that the masses of the people are highly distracted with football. Football has become like a new religion. Many people are just, their consciousness and mindset are just trapped in this false entertainment, which of course the elites want. They want us to be engaged in these distractions because once we are engaged in this distraction, they can carry out their agenda, their programs without our detection. But there's nothing whatsoever that they plan to do without putting it right in your face. You cannot see it, or even if you see it, you cannot interpret it. Right? There is a Stonehenge called the Georgia Stonehenge, where these Luciferians, the globalists, the Satanists, the puppet masters, those who follow the dark sun or the dark side, have engraved clearly and openly. They are making bold statements. They are engraving their agendas on a Stonehenge where probably hundreds and thousands and millions of people go to tourist center and they look at this beautiful Stonehenge and they can even read what is written there, but do they absorb? Does it digest? Do they digest the content of what the Luciferian cryptocrats are saying? Right? Because if the world understand these encrypted messages, there will be a global outcry. There will be a global protest. But because many people are sleeping, and even those who are not sleeping, many people don't want to know. They don't want to have the knowledge of deeper realities and mysteries because they want to shy away from reality and pretend everything is good and everybody is everybody and we are good. You know, we are one humanity and we can hold hand and love one another and sing Kumbaya in this global communitarian brotherhood. But that is not reality on the ground. The reality on the ground is that there are people who are planning for mass extinction, for global depopulation, for mass reduction using all kinds of scientific dictatorship, right? They plan to depopulate you. They plan to reduce you by causing bio-extinction using all kinds of sciences. There are limits on what I can say here because I don't want this video to be taken down by YouTube because I've put many videos that have been taken down. In fact, I have a couple of strikes now. I think if I have one more strike, they will delete my YouTube account, right? They will delete my YouTube account. So there's a limit of what I can say here, right? Because they don't want the people to know. If I am all about talking about football, entertainment, celebrities, these are the things they want the people to be obsessed with because that is part of the mind control program going on in the world, right? So a lot of people will tell you, I don't want to know all those things going on. That's like saying there's a snake, a big fat old snake entered into your room and you say, well, I just want to go to sleep. I don't really want to know. No, I want to know where this snake is. I want to have the knowledge because that's my safety. And that's how we cannot ignore these signs, these symbols, right? These encrypted messages and informations they keep putting on books, in movies and in Stonehenges. Their symbols are all over the place because these are the controllers of the planet. And if I may take another metaphysical step forward, I would say that these people worship the dark sun. They are following entities or beings that dwell in the fourth dimension. We live in the third dimensional reality, but behind the veil of this reality you see, behind the veil of this physical event you see, the people you see, right? There are another reality called the fourth dimension, right? And that is where these Luciferians have allegiance. There are entities, excuse me, if you call satanic forces that live in the fourth dimension that are controlling these leaders of the world, right? Infusing in their consciousness what to do and how to control souled human. And these are psychopaths. These are Luciferians and Satanists. These are soulless entities that exist with us here. So let us go to, let us talk about the Stonehenge called the Georgia Stone Guide. It is an American Stonehenge where the Luciferians wrote in the form of 10 commandments their post-apocalyptic plan, what they plan to do to you, how they plan to reduce your population using eugenics, using Malthusianism, and using all kinds of advanced sciences to control you and to reduce your population. So if you happen to visit that tourist site, millions of people go there just for tourism to see, oh, look at that beautiful Stonehenge. But please, when you go there, read what they are saying. Read their plan. The globalists, the Luciferian, what they plan to do to you. The first engraved information in the Stonehenge said, reduce the global population under 500 million in perpetual balance with nature. That's what they said. They said it clearly. Reduce the world population under 500 million in perpetual balance with nature. Whenever you hear them talk about nature, you're also thinking of the global environmentalists. The global environmentalists. They are the ones who are promoting this idea of global environmentalism, and they have infiltrated most governments in the advanced world. They have infiltrated the United Nations. The United Nations is run by these Luciferian cryptocrats who plan a mass depopulation over a long period of time. They told you they are going to reduce the global population, quote unquote, to be in balance with nature, because they are trying to cause your bio-extinction. They are trying to take you out of this planet, right? They don't love you. They don't like you. And they want you to be removed, to be eliminated out of this world. Are you aware of that? Or you are saying it's one of those conspiracy theory? How ignorant, how stupid, how idiotic you are if you think that it's just a fancy Stonehenge with certain engravement on it. No, this is the Luciferians talking boldly. They are making this statement boldly, and they are expressing this agenda all over the place in books, in movies, and mind you that they are expressing this agenda all over the place. When you watch the news, you just know how to find them, right? You just know how to decipher and decode them. They are using their powerful medias like BBC, like CNN, and all these global media platform to propagate the agenda of mass depopulation, right? What does this encrypted information mean for you and for your future? It means biological extinction. It means world population control. That's what it means. The Luciferian principles or agenda for the world. And when I say the world, I'm not talking about some unknown people, including you. They want to remove you from the planet, and that is why they are bringing all these nasty things using their genetic engineering, medical sciences, and bringing all these nasty things to the population of the world, because they know what they are doing. They know what they are doing, and they have science on their side. They have science on their side. And remember, Lucifer is a master of the visible light spectrum, and these people follow the fallen one. The fallen one is Lucifer. So these people follow the fourth dimension or the fourth density entities. These are fallen angels, so angels who rebelled against the prime creator and are cast out. These are the dark energies, the dark avatars, the dark side. They are on the dark side, and we continue to try to throw more light on what they are doing, because they are in the shadows. They are the ones who should be afraid of you, not the other way around. But because you don't know who you are, you don't realize who you are as a divine being. You are mightier than the sun. You're powerful. Your energy field is powerful if you realize who you are. But because you don't know who you are, you bow down to their brainwashing systems. You bow down to their world rulership, and you follow them. You follow them to the dark side without even realizing that. Maintain humanity under 500 million in perpetual balance with nature. Remember, if they are talking about maintaining humanity under 500 million, how many people we have on this planet? It's 7 billion, 8 billion, I think maybe 7 billion people, right? And they want to reduce 700 billion to only under 500 million. So this is massive program they have. That is why they are promoting all this stuff, wars, chaos, using scientific eugenics, right, to depopulate as much people as possible, using abortions, right, to depopulate as much people as possible, because this program is part of the future planning for their new world order, right? Let's go to the second principle of this Luciferian agenda. They said, guide reproduction wisely, improving fitness and diversity. And for some of you who are aware of eugenics, they are talking of the eugenic principle. We say guide reproduction, control humanity's reproduction, giving birth. They have to control it wisely to maintain fitness. Whenever you hear fitness, you're talking of eugenics. They want to select the finest breed, and only few people they want to exist on this planet. So the first order, the first rule in this principle is talking about reducing global population, which means eliminating the mass of people. There is a document called the Report from an Iron Mountain, where also few of these Luciferians during the Kennedy administration, JF Kennedy, during his administration, few of these Luciferians gathered together in a place called Iron Mountain, and they also crafted a principle on how to depopulate the world. Find that document called Report from the Iron Mountain and read it and see it is also a Luciferian document. So the first rule in this agenda say depopulate the world, and they have different methodologies and means of reducing the global population. That is why the food is poisoned, the water you drink is full of fluoride and other toxic chemicals that doesn't just contaminate your pineal gland but also destroy you biologically. The air you breathe is being weaponized against you. There are frequencies being beamed on your biological system all the time. So there's war, invisible war going on and being carried out against you without you even knowing, because they want to not just numb you down and make you incapable of reasoning, but also to depopulate you. And they put it out there. This is something anyone can investigate. You can go to the Stonehenge, the American Stonehenge, called the Georgia Stonehenge, and see the commandments of the Luciferians and what they plan to do to humanity. As I said, the first one is to depopulate, and the second one is guiding reproduction. They have to use eugenic principles to select the finest genetics, the finest gene to exist on the planet, which means many people who are considered as the useless eaters, many people who are considered as incompetent, as cognitively unfit for the elite will be eliminated, because their genetic stock will not be selected by this Luciferian elite. And part of the eugenic principle is also transhumanism. That is also part of the perfection of the genetic stock of man by these Luciferians. So the first one is to reduce the global population under 500 million. You say under 500 million, in order to agree with the radical environmentalist laws and principles, which of course the UN is promoting massively and convincing governments around the world to embrace this satanic, diabolical, anti-human driven policies and programs camouflaging as benevolent environmental policies. But behind these environmentalists being promoted by governments and the United Nations are hidden Luciferian program. So let's go to the third principle encrypted in that Stonehenge. It says, unite humanity with a living new language. So when we talk about a new world order, a new world culture, know that we are not just being conspiratorial. We're not just being conspiracy theorists. These are actual agenda. They want to harmonize in what we call cultural singularity. They want to destroy national sovereignties and unite government and culture under one government. That is the rule. That is the law. That is their post-apocalyptic plan for humanity. Are you aware of it? Is your eyes open to these things going on? This nefarious, diabolical, satanic agenda and program against humanity. Or you don't care. If you don't care, you are like that person who have a snake, a big fat old snake enters your room and you say, I don't want to know, I just want to go to sleep. Can you really sleep? Because your life is in danger. If you're wise, what you do, you try to keep an eye on the snake, because if you don't, it is going to inject toxic poisons to you and send you to grave. Going to bite your family, going to destroy you, going to kill you. So you have to keep an eye on what these people are doing, because that is how you protect yourself. Remember, you are an advanced, multi-dimensional angelic being trapped within this density. And that's why you are scared of them. You're afraid because of what they're going to do. They can't do nothing because there's no death. There's no death. What you have is transformation. And they know that the only way they threaten you is to make you believe that you are insignificant, but rather they are the one who should be afraid of you. The only way you are afraid of them because you are in the state of sleep. Your consciousness, your soul is asleep, because he who is behind you is greater than he who is controlling these fourth density agents, right? So let's go to the fourth law, or the fourth rule of this universal global plan by the Luciferian. The fourth one says, rule passion, faith, tradition, and all things with tempered reason. I'm going to explain this because people might read this without understanding it. He said, rule passion, faith, tradition, and all things with tempered reason. Meaning, they initiate the word. Faith has to do with religion. Of course, they want to eliminate faith and religion, because the way the Luciferians take you out of your natural divine order is to convince you there is no God. And that is why we see atheism growing massively around the world, right? You see, you rule faith and traditions with reason. And that is why they are beginning to promote something called spiritual materialism or spiritual rationalism, which churches are also preaching today. The doctrine of materialism that the churches all over the world, especially the new generational churches, are preaching is in fact the doctrine of Lucifer. The doctrine of spiritual materialism is also called spiritual rationalism, where you think that reason in itself is God. You worship reason, you elevate reason beyond everything. That is a Luciferian doctrine. They will take you away from the idea of faith. The way they construct the world, the way they design the world will make you have less faith, because when you have less faith, you are disconnected from the prime creator. That is the goal. That is the agenda. If you are disconnected from the prime creator by trusting their scientism, have you been hearing them say trust science? It's become a catchphrase in this modern world. Trust science, right? They are trying to make you to disconnect from your spiritual self, your connection with the one, with the higher eon or the higher dimension, and for you to connect to the fourth density, these fallen angelic beings who govern this reality with their visible light spectrum sciences, right? Scientism. They're not even preaching pure good science, but they're preaching scientism, and they're telling you trust science, trust only reason, right? And that is what philosopher like Francis Bacon, who wrote the Novum Organon, the new rule on how to reason, how to do science, right? Remember, Francis Bacon was also suspected to be part of the secret society. So let's go to the 50th rule of this Luciferian agenda. What did he say? He said, protect people and nations with fair laws and just court. Now, if you read this, you're going to think, well, it's okay to rule the world population with fairness. In law court, there's going to be fairness and everyone will have equal share of opportunity in the law court. But remember, these are globalists. These are world agenda promoters. So they're talking of world court system controlled by these globalists, where, quote unquote, they will give the world, the global population, fairness of the rule of law. Right? So, even though this appears to be positive, it is still very negative, because they are talking of implementing a world court order, a world court system where they will control. And as I say, they want to abolish national boundaries and unify the world under one government. And that is why they are consolidating regional powers. You've seen European Union forming. They're going to be having African Union, and all these unions will eventually link to the global universal order controlled by these Luciferians, where they will institute one world government. It's right there in the Stonehenge. They told you, but many people are not even going to pay attention to that. And that's how distracted humanity is. So let's go to the 6th Luciferian principle, the agenda of what they plan to do to the world. The 6th rule says, let all nations rule internally, resolving internal dispute in a world court. I said it. They want all these regional consolidated powers, nationalities, because they want to abolish national boundary. They want to abolish what they call national patriotism, and then make humanity follow one central universal governmental order. You see, even though you have government with courts, there's going to be universal court system that determines what all nations will do. That is a one world agenda. Is there in the Stonehenge. Go and read it. Take a tourist trip and go and read it. Take photographs. Decipher what they are telling you. These are one world agenda. These are Luciferians who follow the dark side, who follow the dark sun, who follow fallen angels who reside in the fourth density. Many people might not know what I'm talking about, but in the simplest language, I'm talking of people who follow Lucifer and fallen angels who governs this visible light spectrum. We're here to talk about them. We're here to expose to them what they plan to do to humanity, right? They talked about one world court, a court system that is centralized under one world system. That's what they're talking about. So let's go to the 7th rule. He said, avoid petty laws and useless officials. Did you see that? Useless officials are government and policymakers in different nations. They want to abolish all this because they're trying to centralize the government under one world agenda, right? That is what they're talking about. So we go to the next one. You see, balance personal rights with social duties. The United Nations is now talking about this communitarianism. And communitarianism, actually, they are talking about the agenda of collectivism, universal collectivism. Have you ever seen them talk about universal education? Universalization of things is the agenda of the cryptocrats, the agenda of the Luciferians. They want to universalize education. They're talking about universal income now. How many people are paying attention to the universal income, which means even if you don't work, they will give you tiny money to just sustain you every month. So even if you don't work, you're still going to get some money every month to take care of your basic need. And even the money they're giving you will be highly controlled. What you do with it, your whole life will be controlled by these Luciferian cryptocrats. You understand? So let's go to the next agenda. The next one says prize truth, beauty, love, seeking harmony with the infinite. This seems to be religiously driven, but when they say the infinite, are they talking about the true God? Unity with the true God? I don't think so. I think they are talking of the fallen angelic collectives that dwell or that live in the fourth density. That is what they are promoting. The dark side, the dark sun, Lucifer. When they say the infinite, they too are deceived. These Illuminati cryptocrats are also deceived. They think they are doing the right thing, but in the end, they will find out that they are being tricked. They are only channels through which satanic forces or the fourth dimension manifests their energy within our reality. So let's go to the last one. The last one said, be not a cancer on the earth. Leave room for nature. Leave room for nature. See, they see you as a cancer on this planet. They see you as a parasite on this planet, and they want to cut your population. Actually, it is not because the planet Earth is incapable of producing abundant resources to feed everyone. What happens is that they manipulate food sources. They manipulate water sources. They manipulate the resources of the planet and they control it. So majority of the people don't have enough. They cause artificial scarcity. They induce artificial economic crisis in order to create something called dialectical materialism. The dialectics, right? Hegelian dialectics. They create artificial crisis and then people are panicking. People are suffering, and then that is when they come in and advance their project. You see, so when they ask you not to be a cancer to the earth, they are the cancer to this planet. They are the cancer who ought to be taken out of this planet, right? Because they are the real parasite. They are the real psychopaths, right? They are the real enemies of souls who exist or who have incarnated within the 3D reality. We are not the enemy. We are not the parasite. They are. Right? This is not where they belong, but because we are all sleeping, they have taken over soul consciousness. The artificial ones, the inorganic ones, the satanic ones, and the psychopath. And they are telling us not to be parasites, whereas they are the parasites who control our resources. They take over all governmental policies, all global economic activities, all political activities. They take over it, and here they are telling us not to be parasite. And this brings me to the idea of the United Nations. We see UN have been infiltrated with these Luciferians, and they are using this organization as a platform to promote their nefarious global one world agenda. And that is why UN is now championing global, quote unquote, whenever I hear the idea climate crisis, be very skeptical of these ideologies. Green revolution, for instance, they have been promoting the idea of green revolution in third world countries like Africa. African leaders are just dumb. They're just dumb. They don't understand what is going on. They go to these United Nations organizations and they think they're actually United Nations. These are organizations controlled by the Luciferian cryptocrat who are promoting their one world agenda using you as a leader in Africa or as leaders in Africa. They are using you because whatever United Nations say, you follow it, not knowing that you have become part of this dark agenda to depopulate your own people, to destroy your own people in order to promote the agenda of this Luciferian cryptocrat. So the UN is now championing the global green revolution. Is it not surprising? I wonder how many people are not asking fundamental questions. The United Nations was formed, initially was called the League of Nations after World War I. And then after World War II, the World War II ended in 1945. It was following the World War II that again global Luciferian elites came together and convinced few world government elites that they need to form a global union to help in mediating peace around the world. So the initial plan out of which the United Nations was born is to create what we call regional peace, to maintain peacekeeping missions. But are you surprised that the UN is now in virtually every facet of our life? They are controlling everything. Culture, they're talking of universalization of education. They are into environmentalism. They are into medical sciences, dictating to doctors and the governments around the world what they do. They are now dictating to national government, sovereign national governments, what they do and what they should not do. They are dictating culture around the world, telling cultures what to do. These are the agenda of those who promote one world government. We see that this platform have been hijacked. I wouldn't say hijacked. I think it was initially formed for this agenda of one world government, right? It's been taken over by these Luciferians, and they want to use this platform to ferment, to propagate the agenda. Because once you see United Nations, many countries just start panicking and they just have to obey like sheep and cows and idiots what these people are forcing them to do. How come an organization, ask that question for people who can cognitively reason, an organization that was formed as a peace negotiating agency or peace negotiating organization, peacekeeping organization, is now virtually dictating culture, dictating education by UNICEF, by UNESCO, by controlling cultures and environment and dictating the direction of science. Nobody is asking question. Who gave them this massive authority to control our lives? Now the UN is making plan for what they call smart cities, right? Smart cities, they want people to be emptied in the rural areas, everybody to be crowded in the city. The city is toxic for your life. The city is not good for you because they are planning to create this what they call smart cities, where everybody who lives within that grid will be digitally, cybernetically, technologically controlled. They want to abolish money. They want to induct you into this virtual reality, into this digital currency where you owe nothing and you will be happy. Happy because you're ignorant. Happy because you don't understand that you have become a slave to this Luciferian cryptocrat. And you have to understand that why they want to slave you is because you are a resource to them. Your soul generates energy. That's what a lot of people don't understand. Your soul generates energy that the fourth dimensional fallen angelic collectives feed off of. That is why they want to enslave you. It's not just physical. Everything is not just physical. It's more metaphysical things going on. But because these are beyond the perceptions of your five senses, many people don't seem to get it. As I say, the agenda is one world government, global depopulation using eugenics, creating one world force religion, one world homogenization of culture using technological means. And these are the agendas of the cryptocrat. In the future, they want to abolish all national boundaries and all government, create one world court, right, where the masses of people will owe nothing and they will be quote unquote happy. And that is what Aldous Huxley predicted in his book A Brave New World. Next time we are going to talk about a brave new world and how all these things are connected. Again, this is the primordial wave and I am the Enwisdomizer. Stay wise, stay awake.